Aloha, everybody. Welcome to the Aloha Friday show, produced and presented by the Sandwich Island Social Network. My name is Kamaka Brown. Welcome. Woo! It's that time of the week again. Oh. Always looking forward to Fridays for a number of reasons, because it's the weekend. And I have an opportunity to share with you special guests that make time out of their busy schedules to come and hang out with us on the Aloha Friday video podcast. And we are certainly very excited about having Leesa Clark-Stone with us. You're going to enjoy this conversation, this talk story. Leesa is in the green room right now. She is enjoying all of the poo-poos that are there. We've had poo-poos and teriyaki sticks. And remember, Clyde's Poo-Poo and Teriyaki Sticks, where their motto is remove the stick before eating, as well as sushi from Miso Sushi, where the fish was fresh yesterday. So here we go right now. Please welcome to the Aloha Friday show, Leesa Clark-Stone. What's up?
Aloha. I forgot to take the stick out of the teriyaki.
And Leesa, now we have a tradition on the show. In the trees behind me, we have a welcome. You know, like in Hawaii, they blow the conch shell and stuff to welcome, dignitaries and important people like yourself. But we do have many hunis. We do have many hunis in the tree, and they do blow what we call the porgy conch shell. So here's number one. Okay, and then here's number two. Okay, you've been officially welcomed to the show. There you go.
All right.
I hope you feel welcome because the porgy conch shell has been blown. It's been good. Oh, my goodness. You have quite an amazing story to share with us. In fact, a bunch of stories. Oh, my goodness. It's going to be amazing just to hear the stories you tell. I will preface everything with the fact that I had Amazon bring right to my doorstep yesterday your book, Paradise to Paradise, the Rep Reppinger story. And we're going to talk a lot about what's in there. And he rapped one of my comedy inspirations, if you say, as a comic over the years too. So, but I'd like to start with you, coming from Missouri, in 1979, arriving in Honolulu, getting off the plane, first time to Hawaii, Leesa, with your bags, walking off the plane. What are the things that are hitting you? The sights, the smells, the sounds, Leesa.
Well, of course, I thought it was beautiful. I think the thing that surprised me the most was I didn't have a car, and the first place I lived was over in Kaneohe, and taking the bus over the Ko'olaus, I was just like, I can't believe how beautiful this is. I'd never heard this about Hawaii, that there were these beautiful mountains. Looked around the bus, of course, everybody was like, not impressed at all, like me. I can't believe these people aren't looking at the mountains. But yeah, that was the thing that surprised me the most. But I do remember just immediately falling in love with all of the contemporary Hawaiian music that was going on at the time. Olamana. I had a house full of local roommates, and so they introduced me to all of that stuff and eating sashimi. Oh, Leesa, I bet you won't eat sashimi. I'm like, I'll try anything. Yeah. So yeah, I got just kind of dove straight into everything's Hawaii.
Beautiful. Now, I do have beautiful moderators that are listening and telling me that my mic is too high and you are too low. They want to hear you.
Oh,
So no,
too low.
I'm
Okay.
making an adjustment on my side right now.
This is
To
my mic. Maybe I need to hold it. Is it banging against my kukui nuts?
no, it's good right there. I'm
Oh,
bringing
just low.
Yeah,
Ask
I'm
him if that helps.
okay. So
Okay,
thank
I
you
don't want to
to
hold it the whole time though.
thank you for my moderators. Nani Aloha, thank you so much. Appreciate that.
Okay.
They these are my behind the scenes many Huni moderators, Nani and C Honda,
Hmm.
who helped me moderate the show, and they are part of Andy Bumatai's Hamajang gang,
Hmm.
and they come over. They have dual citizenship with Andy's Hamajang gang and the Aloha Friday crew, so so they come
Hmm.
over. So
Does it help if it's closer to my mouth?
I hear you a lot better, and I've also boosted, so
Yeah.
they're going
I
to
wish
tell
I
us
had
here.
something to clip it with, but maybe I need to call my assistant.
Okay.
So,
I think you're going to be good. I think you're going to be good
okay.
because I boosted you from my side as well on
Oh,
my side.
then
Yeah.
this can be
So
fixed technically. Okay.
yeah. So let's see. We have Marty Burns. We have brother Marty Burns that's saying Aloha Friday Kako to everybody. How's it, brother Marty? Also, Bobo Miles is here. Bobo Miles lives out in Haleiwa on the North Shore. He's a good brother.
Oh, cool.
Love to have Bobo drop in. And who else we have here? Oh, Thyra Abraham, Auntie Thyra Abraham. Aloha, Kamaka, and Leesa. Um, and let's see. Oh my goodness, they're all popping in here. Want to say, how's it over here? Here's C Honda saying Leesa and Kamaka, how's it? Welcome, C Honda, Nani Aloha, our adopted moderators who help us with the show here. And let me see. Kevin Wiedemeyer, who is of the Charlie Wiedemeyer family. He is in San Diego. What's up, brother Kevin? To see you. And there we go from Kay Bennett, Auntie Kay Bennett from the West Wing of the Holly. She's saying, Aloha, Ms. Stone, welcoming you to the show. And did I miss anybody? I think we grabbed everybody. If I miss anybody, sorry about that. But there you go. Okay, so you your first broadcasting gig on the radio was in Kealakekua, Hawaii. So you were
Hmm.
living up there in Kealakekua or living Kona side at the time?
Kona side, yes, on Alihi Drive,
Yeah,
Alihi Drive, right across from the ocean, like a little
yeah.
condo. There was actually a converted hotel, I think. But I shipped my Volkswagen Bug over there and worked in Kealakekua.
Yeah. Lived
KKON. KKON.
KKON radio in
Hmm.
Kealakekua.
Hmm.
Um, then came some offers and some opportunities for you to work at Kapoi and 98 Rock.
Hmm.
Um,
That's right.
Kapoi goes back with Uncle Tom and Ron Jacobs and the Weird Beard Lowry, right there on the
Hmm.
Alawai, on
Hmm.
Kapoi. What was that like with working on Kapoi at the time?
Well, there was an AM side. K-Poi was the AM, and then 98 Rock was the FM. And I did news on both. And so it was kind of like having to change my personality between each of those. But I worked with some great jocks there, Lan Roberts and Mr. Bill Mims, Rabbit. He was Rabbit Nabbit there for a while, and so yeah, I learned a lot there. Kenny Hutchinson. We're still I still keep in touch with a lot of those guys. Of course, Lan is no longer with us,
Ah,
and yeah, a lot of the old jocks are gone to that great radio station in the sky.
guy, Tom
Yeah.
Moffat, Bob Lowry, all Ron Jacobs,
Mm-hmm.
all those guys,
Yes.
right
Mm-hmm.
from Kapoi. Yeah. Um,
Mm-hmm.
uh, I was a teenager going to Roosevelt High School, hanging out at Kapoi, and they would give me 45. The 45 records that came from distributors that they wouldn't play. And I started my own little in house radio station at Roosevelt, giving away those
Oh.
45s that they gave me for free.
Oh, that's cool.
uh, now, you were able to make that leap from radio to television. How did that happen?
Yeah. Well, but in between, after 98 Rock, I worked at KMI, and that's where I met Rap. So that was the
Ah,
FM side of KIKI.
aha. So there's a
So we
story
were
about
like,
you. There's a story about you meeting Rap, um,
mm-hmm.
where the first thing when you met him, you said, "You stood me up." Well, Tell the
Hmm.
story about meeting Rap for the first time at the station.
Yeah, so Lan Roberts, who I worked with at 98 Rock and K-Poi, was a friend of Rap's, and he and I kind of butted heads a lot. I remember crying in the bathroom, and
Oh,
he called me up and he said, "Would you like to go out with this friend of mine? His name is Replinger. Do you know him?" And I'm like, "No." He goes, "Well, you don't know who he is?" I'm like, "No." And oh, he's got all these albums. He's real funny, and I said, "Well, I'm going to have to see what this guy looks like before I say yes." And I didn't trust him either. And so I went to Pay and Save. Oh, I lived in Iea at the time, and I go to the record bins and I look and I see the Strange Bird album, and on the back, I'm like, "Oh, he looks pretty cute." Okay. And so I told Land that I would go out with this guy. And so the night he was supposed to come pick me up, he didn't come. And so his parents' phone number was listed in the phone book. And so I looked him up in the phone book and I called. I said, "Rap there?" And whoever answered, he said, "No." And I said, "Okay." And so I was so mad. And so then I called Land and I said, "Your friend did not show up." And he goes, like, "He didn't?" He had this deep voice. "He didn't? Oh, I don't know why he didn't." And I'm like, "Well, he..." And so then fast forward, I'm at KMI and I worked with Bill Thompson there, who was on KKUA for a long time. Thompson and Tucker, he and Danielle Tucker were
Danielle Tucker.
a
Ooh.
team. Yeah, yeah. So he was at KMI, and so we're doing our shtick, and he says live on the air, "Oh, our guest this morning is Rap Replinger." And so when we went to a break, I'm like, "What? What? Rap's going to be here?" And he's like, "Well, what's it to you?" And then I tell him the story. And so then I go out and I'm like putting my newscast together, and I hear this voice behind me say, "You have a nice voice." And so I turned around and I went, "Well, thank you, but I've got a bone to pick with you." And because I recognized this from the picture on the album. And he's like, "What?" Like, "I just met this girl." He's like, "Why does she have a bone to pick with me?" So then I told him, like, we were supposed to go out on a blind date. Lan Roberts set us up, and then like a light bulb went off, and he's like, "Oh yeah." He goes, "I thought you were going to be a real dog. That's
Ooh.
why I didn't come." I'm like, "Oh, okay." Wasn't making me feel better. He goes, "Well, obviously I was wrong. And so, would you like to go out to dinner?" And I'm like, "I don't know. You know, I don't know." So, but he convinced me and we went to dinner. So we were pretty inseparable after that.
um, Quite an introduction there of meeting Rap at that particular time. Wow,
Yeah.
wow, wow,
Neither
wow.
one of us trusted Land Roberts, is what it boiled down to.
And so here's a picture of you and Rap at Nick's Fish
Hmm.
Market. Um,
Yes, that is Nick's Fish Market.
Somebody's holding up a tray
Yeah, that
of
is
butter.
Jim Linkner is holding that carved butter. Uh, Photo bombing with the carved butter. Um, he was an engineer and he worked Rap worked with him quite a
Hmm.
bit on albums.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Wow. Um, you you then began this whirlwind relationship with Rap that was filled with again so many stories because he continued to create this whirlwind wherever he went with his talent and the things that he
Hmm.
was doing. But in the meantime, you were continuing working at you were at uh, the KITV. You continued to work at
No, not
KITV.
yet.
Not yet. Okay.
I was still in radio.
Okay.
Then the KMI and KI changed ownership, and radio how things
Mm,
go, and so I decided to contact KHVH News Radio 99. And so Don Robs hired me over there. It wasn't
duh.
nearly as fun, KY, but they were kind of a farm team for TV news reporters, and that's what I wanted to do. So that's why I went there. And Thank you, Nani Aloha. Um, and so then I worked there while Rap and I were married. That's where I worked, was
Okay.
at KHVH, still in radio.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and he would tell me, like, oh, you need to be on TV. We'd be watching, he was kind of a news junkie like me, and we'd be watching a local news station. And I remember watching Channel 9, and Bob Seavey was the anchor.
Oh, Bob Seavey.
And Rap made some comment about one of the reporters. He goes, "Oh, she's not too good looking. I think that Bob Seavey doesn't like her. You should call. You should send a tape over there."
Bob Seavey, the Walter Cronkite of Hawaii. My
Oh
goodness,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
He
Hmm.
was so well respected, and wow.
Hmm.
So there is where you sent your stuff over there, and they brought you on.
No,
Um,
I don't. I probably did submit a tape to Channel 9, but
uh-huh.
they, when I, let's see, after Rap passed away, I worked for KHVH for a little bit longer, and Melanie Grandforce
Hmm.
was also working there, and she helped me connect with Paul Udell, who is the one who gave me my break in television at Channel
Hmm.
4.
Wow.
Mm.
Okay.
That
Um,
was in 1985, so
wow.
39 years ago.
Wow. Wow.
Mhm.
Wow. Well, let's take a little walk back in history right over here and take a look at Lisa Clark, KITV Midday News.
News 4 at midday.
Good afternoon. I'm Lisa Clark, and welcome to News 4 at midday. Today, capture a glimpse of the Waikiki that used to be, and who better to reminisce with than the man who's probably the best-known entertainer to come out of Hawaii, Don Ho.
Hello.
Hi, Don. It's good to have you
Lisa.
here. What's the biggest difference you notice now between the Waikiki of today and the Waikiki of the 1960s?
A lack of local people visiting Waikiki, number one. They can't afford, local people like to come to Waikiki, the parking is too high.
Yeah.
And in the old days, you can park for $1, and now the parking is higher than anything, so local people don't come.
Back in the days when you played at Duke's, a lot of other entertainers would come by and visit. Was it the kind of situation where you never knew who was going to stop by?
Well, that was a joy of working every night. It was not knowing. That's why people came. They came because they didn't have Marlon Brando would come in. Frank Sinatra, he's one of the two guys that has standing ovation just by introducing him. The other one was Joe Louis, and he had beautiful teeth. You could see him smiling across from Dick, and Tom used to drop by a lot. Dick is one of the greatest entertainers in the world, of course, Tom Jones, yeah.
Yes.
And that's great Duke Hanamoku. He was my boss for a long time. He kissed me all the time.
Now, Karate Kid 3, how will your character and Ralph Macchio's characters be developed in this next movie?
Very simply, they just take them off the first two and say, here, make a story, you guys go act.
Do some more.
Something like that. More of the same. MOS, it's called.
Is this going to be like Rocky? Is there going to be a Karate Kid 4 and 5?
I don't know. We take them one at a time. I do, at least. I take them one at a time.
One at a time.
In fact, they should go from Karate Kid 3 to Karate Kid 9.
Just jump
yeah,
like
just
that.
Jump. Go ahead to 9 already. 9, 12, and 15. That way you don't have to be available for everything.
But get paid for the ones in between.
Oh my goodness. Great memories right over there with Uncle Don and the awesome Pat Morita, who I
Yeah,
met
who
who I
has
since passed.
yeah, had a lot of rap connections. Pat is the one who got Booga Booga back together, as you read in the book, for their reunion in 1982. He was hanging out with James Grant Benton at a comedy club that Jimmy was managing, and so that evolved, and he was instrumental in getting them back together for the reunion, which I think you're going to show some tape from that reunion in 1982. And then, yeah, that was I sure did meet a lot of luminaries on that show and, in my career in Hawaii. And that show was a lot of fun to do because we would have a lot of interesting celebrities drop in. I think some of them oh, I can write off my trip, if I go in and I do this little show there on Channel 4. But the Don Ho appearance was interesting, and that has rap connections because we promoted him. We were looking at Old Waikiki that week. We pick a theme and promoted that he was going to be on the show. And a couple of days before he was supposed to be there, my producers came to me and they said, Don Ho's not coming. And I'm like, what? What do you mean he's not coming? No, he's not coming. And I said, well, we've already promoted it. And I might have let it slide, but we've already promoted it. And so the first thing I thought of was, I'm going to call Larry Mayhow because I know that they're friends, and Larry can get entertainers to go places.
Oh no, you didn't. Oh no, you didn't call Uncle Larry.
So I called Larry and told him the situation. He goes, "Okay, my friend, I'll see what I can do." And pretty soon he calls back and he said, "Don will be there." He said that your producers didn't tell him that you were married to Rap. And I'm like, my producers never tell anybody I was married to Rap. I mean, that's not a thing that we do. And so he goes, he'll be there. He'll be there. So sure enough, he showed up, obviously. And he was getting his makeup on in this makeup place we had. And so I walked over to say hi and have a little talk story before we got on the air. And he had this beautiful young woman with him. And I knew from friends that he had many children. He had a lot of kids. And so I said, oh, is this your daughter? And he looked at me and he goes, when you're older, you'll learn not to say embarrassing things. And I went, oh, okay.
Leesa, you did the equivalent to I know a guy by calling Uncle Larry Mayhow.
Well, come to find out, when I was over there promoting the book, I connected with my friend Paula Akana, of course, and she interviewed me for the book. And we went to lunch, and we got to talk about Larry Mayhow, and she said that he was a great friend to her family. So I didn't realize that when we were working together. But yeah, that's my Don Ho story.
That's your Don Ho story. It's a great one. It's a great one. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I had met Pat Morita through our mutual friend Ken Thompson, KT, and Pat would come over to play baseball, mountain ball, over there in Mo'iliili. With all the local Makuli uncles over there that would play mountain ball. He just loved it. And we went to watch a game with KT with Pat playing over there, and had lunch over at Chunky's across the street, which is no longer there. Oh my goodness. Mm-hmm. So yes,
he was a wonderful human being,
and funny. He shared some stories which I won't go into because I really want to share more about your life with rap and your experiences. But Pat shared with me many stories and kind of mentored me in stand-up comedy as well. Okay, so let's talk about and I want to do the book video because I think that's a real nice tape with a number of folks that are very familiar to our local audiences, and let's do that right now.
Thank you. This is how we're going to bring our two boys, our nephews, and they call themselves Booga Booga, okay? Okay, hey, listen. So if you want some fun, some thrills, some real connected humor, the arena is the place to be. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, you will blow your mind when you see them, because these guys, Gina Vargas, real crazy. Gina Vargas, real crazy. Gina Vargas, real crazy. We'll be back in 1 second. I said we're going to be back. Oh, thanks, Dad.
Everything was based around improv. That's why we called ourselves an improvisational group.
it was a very important cultural and social pivot point in our history as we became aware of our cultural worth in our social standing in the history. So yeah, I'm proud of what we did in the Hawaiian Revolution.
Front desk.
A room service, please.
He had all of the stuff written out. He knew that we had 8 tracks, and he knew what his scripts were, and he had them so that he would do one voice here, and if there was another character and another track there, if there were other ones or background voices, he knew where to put them.
Toy Dog, rap revolution!
I gotta tell you that. I've been waiting for 6 years. Hey, I paid my dues for this little sucker. And I have to tell you this, if you think this Nahoku is gonna get rid of me this year, you wrong. Pass on that, Charlie, because I'm gonna be back next year for Best Female Vocalist. Mahalo! I think the one basic thing about comedy is that you've got to have a really firm foothold on what you're doing. You've got to know exactly what's happening. Your foundation should be good.
Rap Replinger's genius touched the heart and soul of Hawaii with his incredibly funny characterizations of Hawaii's unique peoples and lifestyles.
Do I make fun of people? I happen to have some notes right here. Do I make fun of people? No. When local people argue, especially in Pidgin, that's hard to understand.
You dang connect. How come I stay you go?
Cause what's going on again, Maham, you come no call.
How we gonna call when I stay coming already?
Okay, next time you gonna come, go try call.
Next time I'm not gonna come.
Okay, next time you gonna come, me I stay, me I don't go. But if you gonna come and me I don't stay, no stay, go on.
A lot of times when there would be a mixed crowd, you know, there would be locals and then there would be visitors, non-locals, so on and so forth. And if something kind of like got to him from the non-local side, then he would revert to the local humor where only the locals would pick it up. Yeah, instead of giving the middle finger, he'd do this on both hands. Here he goes. And everybody would want to, we would pick it up. He didn't give you the bird, he gave you the whole flock.
And in the foaming, merciless sea, I called out to her. And in the foaming, merciless sea, I call out to her. Fait on. Fuck. Huh?
When he met Leesa, he just seemed really, really happy and relaxed and just peaceful.
You know what they say about, burning the candle. If you burn it from 12 ends and like that gives you a big rush of light. It's like a supernova. I think that's what rap was in his short span of years. He really exploded, made a lot of people happy.
Oh, well, Rap is, without a doubt, I think, the greatest comedy mind ever to come out of Hawaii. The stuff that he created, wow, nobody's come close.
Aloha, aloha.
Oh my, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Talk about commit. You know, talk about commit as a performer. There's the epitome of committing, willing to, in the middle of it, fully clothed into a pool. And then that great song, Faith Yanagi, you know, where he goes, you know, don't date Mitsufunai, but that piece with water, he'd have that cup.
Yeah. I was there that day when that performance happened, where he kept going to get the glass. Of course, that was something he did every time he sang that. And I still have that shirt. Actually, that was my shirt he was wearing.
Oh, so his continued his performances and getting together with Ed Kaahea, James Grant Benton. It was funny because Ed Kaahea went to Kamehameha, Rap went to Punahou, James Grant Benton went to McKinley. These were all and they had such a wide background and experiences in the local culture, but also had great theatrical background. I mean, they just didn't pop out of nowhere, right? They had honed their craft before Booga Booga in so many places.
Yeah, his name escapes me right now. I would have to look in the book to find his name, but I interviewed him and he trained them. And the guy who was instrumental in a lot of their theater work had connections to Second City in the Canadian comedy group, where a lot of them ended up on Saturday Night Live. So those connections were there, but they did a lot of theater for years before they decided to put together Booga Booga. And they had to convince Bob Hampton, the owner of Territorial Tavern, to let them have a shot at it. Jimmy was a bartender there, I think. And once they did, they were an instant hit.
Yeah, let's talk Territorial Tavern for a little bit, because it was not known for comedy. It was a place for local music and country comfort, folks like that. I believe Olomana. And my classmate Wally Suinaga was with Olomana early on when Robert Beaumont was still alive. So I would go down and see Olomana just because Wally was my classmate. But it was not known for comedy. And so that was kind of a hard sell to get that comedy in there. Nobody had ever heard of comedy, improv. No, that's just not. In fact, even stand-up comedy was not very well known in the islands at the time, right?
Yeah.
Back then, even people like Kent Bowman, who did Pidgin English stories. In fact, I do one of his stories in one of my acts on Little Red. Once upon one time, there was a pocky little wahine, which is Kent Bowman, KK Kaumanua.
Yeah.
And I did that story one time at a show up in Oregon, and his grandson came up afterwards with his daughter and said, he had tears in his eyes. He goes, "You don't know me, but Kent Bowman is my grandfather." I went, "Oh," he goes, "and this is my daughter, and you sounded just." I went, "Oh my goodness." He goes, "You were channeling Kent Bowman." I went, "That is the most beautiful compliment. Thank you so much."
That's cool.
But Kent Bowman in the 50s was kind of channeled through Booga Booga because of his storytelling and, the Pidgin English and so forth. What do you remember about the Territorial Tavern as Booga Booga began playing there and the reception that they got from the community?
Well, I understand. I wasn't there yet, but I understand they were like rock stars, that no one was bigger, and there were groupies and, of course, the substances that all three of them consumed. Each had a different favorite. And, but yeah, it was pandemonium. And Wakayama, who was in that video, who I would like to mention or need to mention that he passed away just this week. And he worked with Booga Booga and rap quite a bit. And I listened to his interview that we did in 2015 the other day. And he was telling me that he didn't ever go there, but when he would drive by, he noticed the line going all the way around the Dillingham Transportation Building there on Bishop Street. And so, yeah, and they had the T-shirts, and they were doing commercials and making good money and, spending good money from what I understand. Yeah.
Yeah. So by the time you had met Rap and you were together, Booga Booga had already kind of broken up. He had left Booga Booga. He's striking out on his own.
I didn't hear any talk of them wanting to get back together. Hung out with Ed quite a bit. Not so much Jimmy, but I never heard him talk about that.
Yeah. In talking with a mutual friend, Andy Bumatai, he had mentioned that Rap was way ahead of his time in the technology of multi-tracking and even during his act, because when he came to the West Coast and was doing some of the comedy clubs there, and then came home, was doing a lot of the multi-tracking that and looping that is now musicians do looping, and it's pretty much second nature. But Rap was one of the pioneers of using trackings in his act, which was pretty amazing. Sound effects. And even if you listen to like Room Service, that's all of his voices that's on there. That's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, it was interesting to hear Dunbar tell the story of how he did that. And there's a little bit in that soundbite in there of he knew what he wanted and where he wanted the voices to go. And prior to that, they had done a Booga Booga album and they had done some commercials, but what Dunbar said, he was the director. I pushed the buttons. He knew what he wanted to do exactly. And then once they laid down the tracks, there weren't any revisions. That he'd take home like a cassette tape or something, but then they never redid things. He didn't remember that they ever did.
Yeah. There's there's something in the book that I thought was quite funny. You didn't send me the picture, but I'm going to post this picture right now. And this is you and Rap. Let me see if I can pull that up here. Just a second. Oh, there it is. Okay. Of you and Rap. And
the bird
poop. Where were you? What was happening at the time?
That was on the Big Island, and we were by the lava field, by Mauna Kea. And so we had some tourists there just take our picture. And later, once we walked away from where we were standing, he looked at, I had bird poop on me when we took that picture. And prior to that, he had walked out of the restroom at Volcano House and had toilet paper stuck to his slip. And so he's like, I'm just really doing great today.
Okay.
I'm so smooth.
So smooth. Okay, so for our friends that are with us on our little paina here today, please remember this picture, because I want to circle back around before we close the show, and alluding to this picture with some bird poop on Rap's T-shirt, and it is for me a chicken skin moment as I read the book yesterday, Leesa, of what happened. I'm not going to spoil the surprise on that. You're going
to make them get the book and read the story? Okay.
Here the both of you are getting ready for Jan Brenner. Oh my goodness, I worked with Jan at the Sheraton Waikiki. What an amazing voice. And so this was getting ready for her wedding. True?
Mm-hmm.
Look
Yep.
at that.
And I recently found I've been dubbing things from VHS and 3/4 inch and broadcast beta, and I ran across the video from this wedding, and it's not very good, but
Oh,
there's a little couple of glimpses that you can see of Rap and I. Um, and he rented a limousine. So I don't know why we didn't stand in front of the limousine for the picture, but we went. It was at the Royal Hawaiian. Jan was working there at the time, and doing an album together that never was released. I don't know. Nobody knows what happened to those tapes. But yeah. So anyway,
Yeah.
she's a friend, and so that's on the Big Island. He got the bird poop off of him by then.
This very, very special because it also was an engagement in which you both had decided that you wanted to get married. True?
Yeah. Well, he asked me on the car ride. He had a habit of, when we would drive around, jump out of the car and pick flowers out of people's yards and then bring them back to the car for me. And he was doing that when we were driving around in the rental car. He had a gig over there. And I had so many flowers at my feet. And finally he handed me a bouquet and he said, "Will you marry me?"
Wow.
And so it's like, oh, I'm getting chicken skin. But yeah, that would happen. So of course I said yes.
Yeah. Well, we're going to take a little break, and when we come back, we'll talk more about Rap's journey and about Paradise to Paradise, a book written by our guest on the Aloha Friday show, Leesa Clark Stone. We will be right back.
I'm brighter than bright. And the time is right to do the skin cancer dance. Come on. Hey. I'm ultraviolet ray. Skin cancer's my forte. I'll make your skin glow. I may lay you so low. You're the one I have selected. Your skin is unprotected. If you won't dance with me, then find yourself a good sunscreen. I'll do you in when you're out and around. So keep your skin safe and sound. Yeah, how? That step you do called SPF. Put it on your right, put it on your left. Sun protective factor, let me tell it to you straight. If you don't apply it, baby, we got a date to go. Skin cancer dancing. Skin cancer dancing. Cancer dancing. Skin cancer dancing. Skin cancer dancing.
We think our soda is the finest on the market today. And what's the best way to prove it? We just ask the average person on the street. Ah, sir, can we talk with you for a moment, please?
Well, I don't know. I gotta go catch Boss Pololo housing to
Sir, sir, this won't take too long. What's your name, please?
James Kilpatrick Mulhaney Montague Del Rio Okada Jr. III.
Mr. Okada, would you have a seat over here, please?
Oh, sure.
Thank you.
Okay. This seat over here, this seat over there.
This seat is fine, Mr. Okada.
This one is good.
Yeah, have a
I
seat.
like that seat over
have
there.
a seat right over
This one is fine. Okay.
Have a seat, Mr. Okada.
Sure.
Mr. Okada doesn't know it, but we're about to participate in a secret taste test.
Oh, what is this? What secret taste test?
Mr. Okada, Mr. Okada, what we want you to do first of all, Mr. Okada, Mr. Okada, first of all, we want you to take a sip from Soda X.
Okay, Soda X.
Soda X.
Soda X.
That's the one.
Shoot.
Okay. Okay, now, Mr. Okada, take a cracker.
Take a cracker?
No, eat a cracker, Mr. Okada.
Eat a cracker.
Yeah, that's it. Okay. Now, Mr. Okada, what I'd like you to do is to take a sip from Soda A. Yeah. Sip. Sip, Mr. Okada. Just get your... Yeah, yeah. Okay. Okay, you've tasted them both. Now, Mr. Okada, which do you like better, Soda A or Soda X?
Well, I don't know about, I'm not too hot on soda, so I say, Soda X.
Soda X. Mr. Okada, let's try it again, shall we? Okay, take another sip from Soda X, please. Okay. Now take another cracker.
Sure.
Okay. Now take a sip from Soda A. Take a sip from Soda A, Mr. Okada. Just take another sip from Soda A, okay? Just take a sip. Just the soda, Mr. Okada. Just sip the soda, please. Soda A. That's good, Mr. Okada. Okay, now, Mr. Okada, which soda do you prefer?
I like the cracker.
No, never mind the cracker, Mr. Which soda do you prefer?
Soda X.
You mean Soda A?
Soda X.
A.
A.
Okay, there you have it, folks. Proof positive. Mr. Okada likes Soda A. And so will you, ladies and gentlemen. The soda preferred by more people. Mr. Okada, who prefers soda? Mr. Okada. Mr. Okada. Mr. Okada?
The cracker.
No, you don't want crackers. You don't like crackers. You like Soda A, okay?
I like cracker.
You don't want crackers. You don't want
I
crackers.
love
Mr. Okada, you
cracker.
don't. Mr. Okada, you don't want crackers. Mr. Okada, put the crackers down. Mr. Okada, you don't want crackers. Mr. Okada.
There's a story behind that that ending there, Leesa, with him trying to.
That's Billy Sage, who is the moderator, if you will. And he said that the table was not rigged to break. They had just done so many takes that it weakened the table until finally on that last take that, they used, the table broke. And Billy Sage is great. He is a friend. He and his wife Beth Ann. But so anyway, and Larry Fleece, who directed that, the producer, he said he just almost busted the take laughing when that cracker was swinging from Rapp's beard.
I said, take a cracker, and he puts it in his pocket. That's genius.
That material, that skit comes from his album Strange Bird, the one that I thought he was cute on the back of. And so when we first started dating, he brought over all of his albums for me to hear, and that was one of my favorites. Was that album? There's so many funny bits on there. The Operation, Shaka Therapy. It's really a great album.
Yeah. I'd like to remind our friends up in my upper right-hand corner of your screen, rapreppinger.com is the place to go with all to learn all things rap. There's so much material there, so great things on there, and you can also, if you're in Hawaii, it tells you different places that you can purchase the book. If you're on the continent, like I am, and like I did, I simply went to Amazon. .com and I got the book Paradise to Paradise, the Rap Reppinger story, and it's a quick read. I could not put it down. It is amazing, and I'd like to say, just on a personal note here, truly, I could not put it down. I got it yesterday morning, and by the evening, I had read all 300 pages, and taken time to go to the bathroom, of course. But it's it is. What can I say? It is a beautiful, beautiful story of Rap Reppinger. Now, in it, aside from the fact that he was likened to Mort Sahl, he was likened to Robin Williams, he was lightning in a bottle. He was so eclectic. His mind, his comedic mind, was so advanced, way, way ahead of his time. But he was also battling other demons, if you will, in his life. Share a little bit about that, please.
Well, he was he knew that he needed to quit coke, and he would talk to Ed about it. And when he was on Maui, there's a couple of guys that he worked with shared with him their faith, and he just, when I met him, he's like, I know I need to quit this, and he was trying really hard, and we started going to church together, and of course he even made that funny, like the pastor is like, if you want to accept Jesus, slip up your hand, and he'd whisper in my ear, just slip down your pants, I'd be like, try not to laugh out loud in church. And but yeah, we went on a spiritual journey together, and that was really special. And he accepted Jesus. We got baptized together, and it's just something special when you can relate on so many levels, including spirituality, with another person.
And you cover that so beautifully in the book, on your spiritual journey together. I chicken skin, all I can say is it really touched me, and you will touch the readers. Please go to rapreppinger.com, order the book from Amazon. It's a beautiful, beautiful work. Now, I
appreciate you saying that.
Yeah, so we're looking at 40 years ago. Rap passed away in 1984.
Yeah, this is the 40th year.
40 years, Leesa, and a lot of controversy about his passing, how he passed. Talk to us just a little bit about that, and one of the things you wanted to accomplish in putting the book together.
Mm-hmm. Well, back then I was hesitant to ask any questions because I was told by the homicide detective that, I thought that they would be looking into this because there were some suspicious things happening, like a guy calling and threatening him. And I took the answering machine tape and gave it to someone who was dressed like an HPD officer who came to our house. And years later, when I was writing the book, I looked into that, and an evidence specialist at HPD told me that it never got there. And so there was that. And I wanted them to look into some of these things, and it seems that they didn't. And so when I was writing the book, I went to see my friend Audie Kimura at High Steakhouse, in Waikiki, and our picture was on Facebook, and a guy wrote, it's like, oh, I know what happened, and he started writing these things, and so I called Audie. I'm like, who is this guy? I mean, is this what I've been looking for all these years? Like the answer to what really happened that day? And that person ended up giving a sworn statement to the Attorney General's office, which opened up the case and looked into details of Rapp's death to see if anything could be uncovered all these years later. And I also showed it to a cold case detective here in Nashville, where I live now. And that cold case detective, who solved more cold cases than any other cold case detective in the United States, first thing he said was, I would have swabbed his shirt for touch DNA. And that was destroyed. All the evidence they collected there was destroyed. So DNA evidence wasn't being used at that time, but when evidence is preserved, they can go back and get DNA samples from evidence, but that evidence isn't there. So without a confession, we won't know for sure, but I feel like that I have answers about what happened that day, and I got some peace from it. But he definitely did not kill himself like some people thought.
Yeah, and you go into some detail in the book, and again, I know I'm being repetitive here. I strongly suggest and recommend our friends pick up a copy of the book Paradise to Paradise, the Rap Repringer's story, as well. And let me just play this right here because I didn't want to leave without that. Here we go.
Let's talk poetry. Yes, sir.
What's your favorite Raps Hawaii character?
Okay, suckers, perps.
Meet the man behind the characters in the book. The Rap Replinger story. RapReplinger.com for where to get 'em.
There you go.
And that voiceover is Billy Sage.
Billy Sage, the man of 1,000 voices. Oh my
That's
goodness! Right.
Yeah.
Oh,
So talented.
Very, very talented. It was kind of like the name escapes me at the moment. He had the voice of Bugs Bunny, and he did so many different voices for animated cartoons over the years, and that was Billy Sage with all of those voices as well.
Yeah, he's incredible.
So, Rap passed. You stayed in Hawaii for another 5 or 6 years afterwards.
6 years, yeah.
6 years
working.
And then at some point decided to move away from the islands, and you ended up in Nashville, Tennessee.
By way of Atlanta.
By way of by way of Atlanta, and you now have a wonderful family right there. Your husband.
I guess the rapreplinger.com's over my son Jake's face, but there we go. And the woman besides me in the picture is my oldest son's fiance. He's the one that has his arm around her. His name's Nick. And the other son is Jake, and then my husband Rich.
Handsome young men. And over the years, you and your husband have created Stone Productions. Tell us about Stone Productions in Nashville, Tennessee, Leesa.
Well, we have had this business as long as my oldest son has been alive, which is 28 years. And we do video production for corporations and also broadcast news, national broadcast news outlets, institutions. And it's something different all the time that keeps it interesting.
Yeah. I went over to your site, and you have interviewed just some really interesting. You interviewed Glenn Campbell's widow. Yeah.
His widow. Yeah.
I saw some documentary about Glenn. He had Parkinson's,
Alzheimer's. He had
Alzheimer's.
Alzheimer's.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
They did a really great documentary on that called "I'm Still Me,"
Saw it.
and it's worth looking into. If you, I would say at this point, most of us have been affected by
Yes.
Alzheimer's with a loved one or someone in the ohana,
Yes.
and it's really a remarkable documentary
is.
of him touring in the later stages of that
Mhm.
disease.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you see, our ohana is out there. T-Dan Hofstad, a good friend of mine. This Mel Blanc is who I was thinking about. Thank you, T-Dan. He is the voice of Bugs
Oh.
Bunny, and so here's
Yeah.
T-Dan Hofstad, where his father drew Mel Blanc's caricature at the International Marketplace in Waikiki, 1978.
Oh, cool.
T-Dan Hofstad's father was one of the original artists working at the International Marketplace, where they would sit you down and draw, with the big heads and are you a surfer or
Mhm.
whatever. And that's where T-Dan grew up as a teenager, right there, running around the International Marketplace. Well,
Is that still there, or have they gotten rid of it?
they have gotten rid of the old International Marketplace and have made it into a kind of a high-tech, multi-level International Marketplace. Us oldsters, us OGs don't like it, but it is what it is. There's a cliche for you, but it's still called the International Marketplace, but not like we remember it. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Not rustic like it
Not
was. Yeah.
not rustic. Not rustic. I can't buy gold by the inch from the roll anymore from the lady in the cart.
Yeah.
As well. But Nate Jones is our production assistant, is our talent producer. He said Mel Blanc. Thanks, Nate. Nate in for the save with T-Dan. I love it.
Yeah, Nate is awesome. He's been really great, preparing me for this.
Nate is my superhero. He is the one that does much of the behind the scenes work, and very appreciative to Nate as our production assistant here. He is wonderful in
Yes,
communicating. Yeah, he's a great guy. What would you like folks to remember about Ralph Reppinger and the takeaway from Paradise to Paradise and the implications of what is that? It says Paradise to Paradise, the Ralph Reppinger story.
We lived in paradise, and he went to paradise.
I
have no doubt about that he's in heaven. And we'll see him one day again.
I want to go back.
So,
I want to go back to that T-shirt shot with the bird poop and something that happened to you.
Oh yeah,
in downtown.
I thought you were going to make them buy the book to find out. I'll tell the story. So I said that I was still working at KBH when he passed away, and parked my car, several blocks away, and walked to the studio. Was on Bishop Street. And so I was waiting for a light, and I was just like missing him so much. And I was like, Rap, I wish you could just give me a sign, give me a sign, please. And it wasn't 2 seconds later, a bird poop. I had big, like we used to wear in the 80s, those big sunglasses. Bird poop on the inside of my lens, didn't touch my face at all, but there it was right in front of my eye. And I'm like, very funny, Rap. I didn't ask for signs other than that for a long time. That was really something. I felt like it was from him. His sense of humor too, right?
Yeah, exactly.
To do something like
that. Exactly. Oh,
in your eye.
In your eye.
Yeah.
Leesa, it has been so wonderful sitting with you and talking story with you. Thank you so much.
I have really enjoyed it. Thank you for having me.
I'm glad we could arrange our schedules to make it happen. And all of our friends are jumping in. Here's a DC Makaena. I'll go to Amazon. There you go, DC.
All right. Yeah. Oh, and on the website, I have the 3 of his albums and Apple. You know how they're always changing things.
Sure.
There's an email there. Email if you want to order an album. And
Oh, nice. Nice.
but I got to get those links with Apple straightened out on my
Okay.
list.
On, on your list, on your list. And there it is, ropreppinger.com. There's a whole generation of folks that are being introduced to rap. I mean, his legacy continues on in multi-generations. And you have interviews with people like Passion, who funny gal, and talking with people like mutual friend, another comic, Paul Ogata, Augie Tolba. All of those, continue to share the humor of Rep Reppinger, and a whole new generation is discovering all of his stuff and the taglines. Not too long ago, I was here in Los Angeles. Not too long ago, I was in traffic and pulled up, and there was a round sticker on the side, and I looked over, and it says, "I like the cracker" on it, and I.
Oh. Okay.
and I looked over, the light turned green, and boom, he took off, and I went, "Oh,
oh, that's so awesome!
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah,
yeah." And now everybody's doing shaka all over the country, right? Maybe the world. And not that he invented that or anything, but that used to just be a Hawaii thing. And when you talk about future generations, I want to mention that this kukui lei that I'm wearing today was given to me by Charlie Tim Tim, who played rap in 2 productions that HTY had, Hawaii Theater for Youth, of Raps Hawaii, that they took to schools and libraries, and of course had shows for the general public. But he said he gave me this because kukui nuts symbolize enlightenment, among other things, and I was enlightening people about rap.
Sweet.
So
sweet.
Yeah, he's a very awesome guy.
And there's C Honda. Thank you, C. Go to reprevenger.com. Go to Amazon. Pick up the book. Highly recommended. Thumbs up. And like Rep says, what he says, I've been waiting 6 years. Holds up 5. He said,
that's funny. I never noticed.
Yeah, I've been waiting 6 years. He says, I got that. I went, oh, that's really great. Leesa,
you are.
all the best to you and your ohana in Memphis, Tennessee, and Stone Productions.
Nashville.
In Nashville. What did I say? Did I say?
You said Memphis.
Memphis. Oh, I was thinking about Memphis.
I go there all the time.
They're in Nashville. And a few Hawaiians are there. Keahi Rosette is a musician that's there. And Justin Young is another musician, Hawaiian musician living in Nashville that are producing music there as well. That's kind of like the mecca for music, and a lot of folks are there. All right.
It's like Hawaii. There's a lot of great talent here.
Yeah. Well, we're going to say aloha to Leesa Clark. Aloha. Thanks so much for coming to us. We're going to have Leesa go back to the green room and enjoy the teriyaki steaks. Watch out for the steaks now, and also the sushi. That's there as well. And thank everybody for joining us on the Aloha Friday show. Oh my goodness, you were great. Thanks so much for all of the wonderful comments. And there's NTK saying mahalo to all. She says it was a great show. Thank you so much. And quite a few of our friends are logging on right now, and some of us are logging on kind of late. Hey, you guys kind of late. We're on the end of your Uncle Lucky, aloha, and Gary Gotori, aloha as well. We'll see you next time on the Aloha Friday show. Thank you so much. You guys be safe out there, and ahui ho. We see all of you next time on the Aloha Friday show with the Sandwich Island Social Network. Woo!